Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ascension Astrology. My name is Janet Hickox, and I'm an intuitive astrologer, human design consultant, and a Gene Keys ambassador.
Wow.
Wow.
Quite a few titles. I'm Kornelia Stephanie, and I help empower women to claim their inner powers in all areas of their lives. I'm an ascension guide, and I'm a radio host.
That she is.
Yeah.
Because you have like 5 shows, don't you, that you're doing, or 3 or 4 at least?
Yeah.
Including this one.
Yep.
Which isn't really radio, but
it's radio.
It does. I put it on radio. I put this on Blog Talk Radio. So if ever you miss this on a Thursday afternoon, you can find it. I usually put it on Blog Talk on Saturday so that people during the weekend, if they're bored, they want to listen to something, they can listen to us on Blog Talk Radio on Saturdays afternoon.
Yeah. And really, where can people listen to us too? What we want to do is we want to grow the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to the YouTube and look for Ascension and Astrology. Do you always put the link in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that you can like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we want that channel to go and grow and go viral, right? Yeah.
I would love it if something went viral.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. How does something go viral? I mean, how do you make a video go viral? How does that happen?
You sing.
No.
Or you dance.
You sing and dance.
Oh, you sing or dance, because that's what people, really they share those kind of videos. The other thing I was thinking is that I think people sometimes share shorter videos, and those are the ones that go viral more than the big ones or the longer ones. I don't know exactly.
I was thinking about this because I think it's stories that like touching human stories where someone does something that really touches someone, right? That a way to connect, right?
Yeah.
That. And then what else makes a video go viral? Somebody that's pissed off about something. That could happen. That could happen, right?
Yep.
So what is it, right?
What is it they say? A satisfied customer tells 3 others, but a dissatisfied customer tells 10.
Yeah.
So it's proportionately upside down, I think. But tell your friends. That's the point, right? Tell your friends. So here we are today, and in the shadow of Mercury turning retrograde, and I have had it up to here today with Mercury retrograde shenanigans.
Already.
Oh my gosh. I mean to tell you, I went through, I told you, it took me 15 minutes probably to explain to Kornelia this afternoon everything that's happened to me. Consequently, the major thing that happened was that I lost my internet connection at my house, seemingly from an equipment malfunction that they can't fix over the phone or whatever they normally do. They send out signals through your equipment to fix it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't.
Wow.
So now I have to have a technician come out tomorrow, sometime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. So likely you guys will not see me on the Meta Cafe tomorrow morning. So, and this would be better if my telephone service on the island was good, but I have lousy cell signal on the island where I live. So I can't even use my phone as a hotspot to get to the internet, or use my phone to even broadcast a live video. So I'm kind of out of luck tomorrow, unless something extraordinary happens, and I'm holding out my hands that can happen too.
Right. Yeah. Miracles could happen. We're calling in those miracles right now.
Yep.
In our March Forward 2019.
March
forward, right?
Marching forward.
And this is our time of miracles. I mean, really, we are the miracle creators. We are the miracle bringers. And this is what we are opening up for.
Yeah.
Right?
The miracle of miracles.
Yeah.
So let's see. Kornelia had some key questions that she wanted to talk about. She wanted to ask of our audience today. So I see a few of you are here right now, and maybe we'll post the question later for people as well. But you wanted to find out what
keeps you up at night?
Yes.
What is the thing that keeps you up at night or wakes you up at night? And what is it that you think about at night? What is it that I'm
going to write that. I'm going to turn the camera just for a second.
What is it that keeps you up at night? And what are your pain points? What are the things that trigger you and that you wish that would just go away? right?
There you go. What keeps you up at night?
And what is it that you wish would just go away? What is that thing? Because here's the thing, if there's many people that wake up at night with whatever it is, whatever it is for them. And if we can address these things and talk about these things and heal these things,
Yeah.
then we can help each other grow.
Well, and I think the best thing about it is once it's spoken, right, it kind of loses its power.
It does.
Right? You go, what am I, why?
Yeah.
Why is that occupying space in my mind and taking away my sleep or taking away my peace of mind and, or, causing me upset?
Yeah.
So, but once you speak it, then it doesn't hold that same kind of power anymore.
Yeah. And then you can really look at that subconscious negative limiting belief that's there, and you can address it also to see, what it is, what it means to you, and shift the energy so that you can, again, create the life that you want.
And that's exactly what we're up to, right? That's what we're here to talk about in terms of ascension and where it is that we're moving, how it is that we can connect to the planets and the stars to help guide us into what is right for us, what is happening for us, what's the truth right now. And those are the things that, we want to be able to share with all of you. So to that end, of course, astrologically, the biggest news is the Mercury retrograde coming up. It's huge because it's in Pisces, and Pisces is a sign that takes us to spirit. It's about being inspired or inspirited, in spirit. And when Mercury turns retrograde, it slows down, right? It's slowing our energy down so that we are almost put in a position to have to connect to source or spirit or God or whatever you want to call it, in a more powerful way. So we have that right here, right now. I mean, we're in the shadow already. So we should also note for everybody that your intuition is extraordinary now. You might find yourself really having some powerful dreams. I told somebody last night it was a reading I was doing while I was on air at Angel Heart Radio. And I told her, I said, I think you probably should put your phone by your bed so that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you can just hit record on your sound recorder, because I have a feeling, all these things are going to be coming up.
Yeah.
Because who wants to turn the light on and have to focus their eyes to try to read?
Yeah.
Or write, right? It's better to just be able to press record.
Yeah.
So, that may be something, advice for everybody out there. Have something close to your bedside that you can get to put down into words what you were dreaming about.
Yeah.
Or what ahas were coming up.
Yeah. Well, and as far as the intuition and that inner guidance and that inner communication that's taking place right now is a way for you to talk to your greater self, your higher self. It's a way to talk to God. It's a way to talk to, how are you communicating with the divine? Right?
How often, for what reason, right? What is it that we're taking to source? And I would say that we could take anything, right? Anything. For those of you who are just joining us, and I see a couple of new faces out there right now, there's a question up on the screen. What keeps you up at night? And what are your pain points? And if you want to share that, you can just type that into the chat box.
What do you wish would just go away? What is the reoccurring thing that's there? And what do you wish would just go away? Because we're the creators of our lives, and we're creating our world our lives the way that we want to live them, especially now moving into March. And I actually love it when Mercury goes retrograde. It, like you just said, it gives us the opportunity to really slow down and listen, because Mercury is the communicator, and listen to our inner guidance, listen to our intuition. I was saying to a friend yesterday that it seems like with Mercury being retrograde in Pisces right now, it feels like you're asking a fish to walk. It feels like you're asking a fish to walk in water, right? It's like, oh my God, just this energy, the way that it feels.
Think about it. Mercury is the ruler of air signs, right? And air is light. It doesn't afford us a whole lot of tension. If you want to move through air, it's, pretty easy. I can just take my hand and move it like this freely as fast as I want to through the air. But then if this was water and I was trying to do that as quickly, there's more resistance in water.
Yeah.
So when you put an air planet in a water sign, it is by nature going to slow down. The retrograde itself by nature is slowing us down. So
I think it's great that we're going through this slowdown right now, because I don't know about you, but with these higher vibrational frequencies, energies that have been coming in, I have been exhausted. I have been exhausted to integrate this energy into my physical body and also keep up with everything that we have to do in our lives. So the slowdown is welcomed, because it's like, wow, okay, take a break, reevaluate, relook, see, revisit, and see what is it that you want to move forward with. And again, what is it that you're projecting out into the universe? What is it that what are the thoughts? What is it that you're putting out, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's so much juiciness though right now with the potential for us is extraordinary. When you think about the planet being imbued with the opportunity to become inspirited, right? To live our lives, to make decisions from those key places, right, that are right for us. And the impact that then each one of us has on the entire world in our own little way when we choose to live that way.
Yeah.
When we choose to, before the broadcast started, Kornelia and I were talking about this idea of what keeps us up at night. And I have this recurring thing that keeps me up at night. And then when I think about it, even if it isn't an issue in my life at that moment, it is what will wake me up, or it is what I will immediately, if I'm lying in bed and I'm awake at 1 a.m. for no good reason, what is it my mind goes to? It goes automatically to that issue that we spoke about. And yet I have the power to determine where my thoughts go, even at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m, 3 a.m, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like there's this fail safe, or this, what is that called? When a default set of thoughts that are running in the background, that even when you're in that semi-conscious state, that come up to the surface immediately.
Well, it's still, isn't that the 12th house, the hidden, the negative limiting belief, the subconscious belief that runs the show, until that belief is turned around into a positive belief. That's the belief that needs to be changed. So, then I would recommend that you get up the next morning, maybe not in the middle of the night, but get up in the next morning and write that belief down and change it once and for all. Change it once and for all, because you're the one that can transcend that energy totally.
Yeah.
And like right now, where we are and where we have been, especially in January and February of this year, we're completing an entire karmic cycle, and we are ending the old world entirely. I mean, this is what we're unhooking ourselves from.
Oh, good word.
Unhooking, right?
Great.
We're totally unhooking. And every single time when we get triggered by any event, anything that's happening in our environment where we're not neutral, that's the place where we need to unhook. That's the place where we need to, withdraw, unhook yourself, and really feel to heal that situation, so that you can be fully present with what is, instead of reacting, but like really being present, like be all in with it. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. You mentioned the 12th house, and Pisces rules the 12th house in the astrology chart, in a natural astrology chart. So the 12th house has very Piscean, very Neptunian sort of qualities about it. So it is a place of hidden power.
Yeah.
I really like to think of the 12th house as a place of hidden power.
Yeah.
Where we've sort of layered things over it.
Yeah.
Like hidden in that 12th house is the key almost to our healing, to our ability to really shine. And, that statement, by Marianne Williamson, that we're afraid not of our darkness, but of our light.
Yeah.
That's paraphrasing substantially, but essentially that's what I think the 12th house is. It's the place where the light is there, but life and falling through the veil of forgetting as we move into this planet, we've covered it up.
Yeah. And it's the place of the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we talked about it before on one of the other shows here, is the shadow is where God is. The shadow is where the divine is. The shadow is where the gift lies, because that's where the gold is to be able to go to the shadow and really unveil the shadow and see it for what it is, and see the gift that it brings.
Yeah, reveal it for its truth. It's interesting work if you think about the 12th house. And the fact I have Mercury in the 12th house.
You do?
Yeah.
Natally? Wow.
And my son is in the 12th house natally.
Really?
Yeah. So it's hidden. It's already hidden from me.
So that's part of why your default then, you know, in the middle of the night, that wakes you up, part of that 12th house. And I didn't know that, but I said the 12th house, right?
I know you said it. I'm like, wow.
You know, I didn't know that, but for me, I have Jupiter in my 12th house.
You know, and I see Jupiter in the 12th house frequently with people who are of high spiritual qualities, because Jupiter is mastery. And even in human design, when we think of Jupiter, it is really the place where you find that you're struggling to come out, to emerge, to come out of the closet as the powerhouse that you are. And it's amazing to me how many readings I do for people that have Jupiter in the 12th house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, you know, the struggle is there to bring out that master within.
Yeah.
Right. It's lying in wait.
Isn't that always what we help, what we do for ourselves, we help, we then give it back and we help other people.
Yeah, exactly. But the 12th house being ruled by Pisces puts that idea of spirit, dreaminess, unclarity, because there's sort of
illusion.
that nebulous illusion, delusion.
Yeah. Because what are some of the lower traits of Pisces?
Totally idealistic, where they can't see the real, right? They can't see the real. They can become very escapist, right? Where they don't want to feel the pain, the wound. So they can dissolve into all kinds of problems: alcohol, drugs, sex, shopaholism, hoarding, and not that it's an exclusive territory in Pisces for those kinds of things, but, anything that we use to escape is often what is Pisces doing in your astrology chart.
Wow.
Or what is going on in your 12th house in your astrology chart.
So basically what you're saying is Pisces is our inner addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inner escape artist too. I mean, because
Pisces is the inner addict. So take a look right now in your life. What is your addiction? What is the thing that you keep going to? Because this is the piece that you want to get beyond. This is the piece that you want to heal, because it's the lower aspect of Pisces, right?
Yeah.
That we want to heal and that we want to move beyond. For me personally, this winter, I certainly have been my inner addict has been visiting more often, and I have been noticing, I'm doing more emotional eating than I would normally do, because it's been so cold. I haven't really been able to go out and connect with nature as often as I would like, right? So that's been hard. And I've noticed that I'm emotionally eating right now for comfort, and it's really not what I want to do, but this is what I've been doing.
And your go-to? My go-to is sugar.
Okay. My go-to, well, let's see, my go-to changes, but I like ice cream too, sugar. But I really want to stay away from the sugar, but I've just been emotionally eating more than I normally would.
Yeah.
So
let's see what some of our people out here are saying. Debbie, by the way, hello, Debbie. I don't remember if I said hello to you, but hello. She says she used to worry about anything and everything, mostly family, children, and grandchildren. I finally figured out I have no control over the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I sleep much better. If I don't sleep now, it's usually my old body. I'm amazed how long it took me to get here. And Rebecca, I believe it's anxiety around not having accomplished enough for myself and others that is keeping me up at night, often feeling guilt and powerless about the past and overwhelmed about the needs of the future. And Debbie says guilt is always a big one.
I just want to say something to Rebecca. Rebecca,
Mm.
you know, I bet like what you're feeling is that you haven't accomplished enough. Is I feel like you're being too critical on yourself, and that you know, I know that if you were to sit down and look at all of your accomplishments and how far you've actually come and how amazing you've actually done, if you would give yourself credit for where you really are, you would be surprised that this is exactly how you want to talk to your inner child. That's exactly how you want to speak to yourself as the inner parent, and not hold yourself in contempt, because nobody's really holding you to that bar other than you.
Just you.
Yeah. And I would really recommend that you see how amazing you are and how far you've come. And the whole thing with the guilt, you know, guilt is not an emotion. It's a religious word that has been conditioned and programmed into us. And, you know, our past has, you know, whenever we're made to feel guilty. I always, when I tell my clients that if they feel guilty, I want them to do it anyway, whatever that is, simply because guilt is just a feeling. It is not an emotion. And it is not something that your body wants to feel. And it's not something that is good for your body to feel, because feeling guilty keeps you in a lower state, and it keeps you paralyzed, and it keeps you not moving forward. So removing the feeling of guilt out of your vocabulary is actually the new earth kind of thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is like not even to do guilt. I don't do guilt. I don't at all, you know, do guilt, because it's like nobody wants you to feel guilty.
No.
Nobody does.
Isn't that one of our core issues? Wasn't that one of the things that emotionally people were clearing for the longest time anyway? Guilt.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's only a feeling. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even it's not an emotion. You know, it's like you don't want to do something because you're going to feel guilty because you might let somebody else down.
Mm-hmm. Or yourself down or something like that.
Normally, you know, yeah, it's, but the main thing is your body is here to experience pleasure and feel good. Yeah. Your friends, the people that love you, want you to feel good. They don't want you to feel guilty.
Yeah. So it's interesting because guilt to me speaks to victimization. Mm-hmm. And that is also a Piscean lower frequency trait.
Yeah. And it's like, we're not, I mean, would Christ use the word guilt? In feeling guilty? It's like, again, we're empowered creators, and using guilt to stay a victim, or using guilt, putting guilt upon us, it isn't serving us. It's not serving us.
Right.
Not serving us at all. And it's like, remove guilt from your vocabulary, because we don't want nobody to feel guilty. For what? It's, where do they use guilt at? In the courthouse? Mm-hmm. Guilty.
Guilty as charged,
right? So,
but if that's a good point, because if you make yourself guilty for whatever it is, then it's like this albatross around your neck that you're carrying, like this badge of victimization. You might as well just add, one more ring to that choker.
Yeah.
That energy that's choking you. And we've come through this. We are done with Chiron in Pisces, where that pain body has been so triggered, and it has moved on into into Aries. And now what we have left is Mercury retrograde in Pisces, the sun right now in Pisces, and Venus moving into Pisces tomorrow.
Venus moving into Pisces?
No, sorry. Venus moves into Aquarius tomorrow. Pisces at the end of the month, however. So we're going to be looking later in the month in the month of March as to what are our values and how have we arranged our values in alignment with that victim energy.
Really?
Right? And do we want to be allied that way anymore?
Yeah. No, we don't.
No. So
the biggest thing is that we want our physical bodies to experience to be living in peace, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. To be at peace, to be relaxed, to be at ease, to be at peace, to be receiving, to be in joy. And if we're feeling guilty, We're not in that state.
Yeah. So guilt and shame and victimization, they are so last century, right?
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah.
And, just come back to, okay, well, so that didn't work out the way I planned, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And I have another day, I have another opportunity to make change. I understand what she's talking about in terms of feeling like she hasn't been able to accomplish much or as much as she would hope. I mean, but I think Rebecca, you're only in your 30s, aren't you? If even that. I mean, every day for a while, like, maybe for the last month of the year, I would wake up and go, oh my God, Janet, you're 57. And what have you accomplished? I mean, besides the fact I have 4 grown kids, I have 9 grandkids, I have this beautiful family, a marriage of 38 years. I mean, I have accomplished a lot, but I was somehow using some skewed piece of information to qualify my success.
Yeah, but here's the reason why I'm saying that. I bet that you have come a lot further than you're giving yourself credit for, is because I sat down and I wrote down what I've done. What I've accomplished during, especially looking at the Ascension timeline and what I've accomplished during the last 8 to 10 years. I sat down and wrote everything out, all the things that I've accomplished, where I've come from. Because when I think about, when I was still working out in the toxic system out there, right? When I was still out there, I didn't even know at that point in time what my core values were, or what even core values were.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
What did that
right?
mean?
And I didn't even know, because I was still chasing. I was a rabbit, in the hamster wheel, just chasing around, and so. And when I sat down and wrote out what I have accomplished over the last 8 to 10 years, I was astonished at how much I've achieved and how much I've accomplished. Now, does that mean that there's millions of dollars in the bank? No, but what I've accomplished on the Ascension timeline, in my own life, in my own awakening, in my own truth, in my own unveiling, has been extraordinary. It's been extraordinary.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And maybe other people may have the same question. What do you mean by Ascension timeline? What is that? How many years is that? I mean, what does that mean?
Well, to me, what Ascension timeline means is that every moment we get to choose where we are in what timeline we're living in, right? So, and I'm, as an Ascension guide, I am always choosing in my awakening to move into a higher state in the timeline. Okay. So when I'm making a choice, I'm always looking at making a higher choice. Not saying I'm successful at it all the time, not at all. But that's where, that's.
But when you say timeline, I'm thinking like, did you go back 10 years? Did you go back to a specific date?
Oh, I see.
Like, what does that mean when you say Ascension timeline? Did we start ascending at a certain date and that's where you went back to? Or do you just go back and look over the whole course of your life?
Yeah, I just look back at the last 10 years, what I've accomplished.
Just 10 years. Oh, okay.
Mainly because that pretty much has been my work on the Ascension timeline.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I mean, that takes us back to 2009. 2008.
Yeah, pretty much is 2008 is when
which is the last time Jupiter was where it is now.
Okay.
Right. And here we are all in this expansion because Jupiter's sitting in Sagittarius and it's causing us to look at how we are expanding. So that's perfect timing.
Wow. So yeah, I sat down and wrote it down. So Rebecca, if you were to look at your life and look at how far you've come in the last 8 years, or even 5 years, even 1 year, you would see that all the things that you've done, because we don't give ourselves enough credit where we are, because it's, again, based on, a lot of times we keep ourselves in contempt because we're listening to the ego of we're not good enough and we're not doing enough.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. So let's see if we can hear from anybody else out there that's listening about what it is that keeps you up at night. And
what do you wish would just go away?
Yeah. I keep saying it the other way, but what do you wish would just go away? Or maybe the question that might be better is, what would you rather have in its place?
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what would I rather be thinking of at 1 a.m. if I wake up?
Yeah.
Not the things that I worry about. What would I want to think about? Well, I know what's been keeping me up lately is
Excitement.
excitement. Yeah,
right?
it's been more about excitement, but at other times, it's been worries about things that there's nothing I can do about it at 1 a.m.
Right.
And nor does worry, by the way, ever turn positive as a way of solving any problems.
Exactly. So because again, if you're worried, and why would you want to be? I heard somebody else say that here in the group, that they're worried about their kids, or they're worried about their grandkids. It's energy that we put out there. So rather than worrying about anyone, put the energy of peace and love and seeing them succeed,
Yeah.
rather than worrying about them, because they have a chosen path, and they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
But adding worry onto them isn't gonna help them,
or onto yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, and she came to that conclusion, right? She said that, she finally realized all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas were
not gonna. Yeah, and
pointless.
there isn't anything you can do about it. And so then now what are you doing with your time?
maybe she's sleeping. That's what we should be doing, right?
Like last night, I had such a great day yesterday. It was just awesome day, and then I just didn't know where to turn it off, and I kept on being excited even after I went to bed, and woke up in the middle of the night wanting to keep going.
I think I slept the sleep of the dead last night because I was tired. I'd had an exciting day. I'd had a lot of things I was doing, and when I went to bed, I was just passed out. I don't think I even woke up until 6 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was not what was going on the nights previous to that, where there was so much on my mind. And sometimes it's good to be that way, right? You've got this excitement. I would rather lie awake excited than worried.
Totally.
Right? I mean, that's a different feel altogether.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about something else with Mercury moving into being in Pisces in retrograde. It's that during this time we are being upgraded, right? Upgraded. And, one of the things that I was talking about yesterday on the radio is that right now, because the sun is fairly quiet, we have a lot of cosmic energy that is able to make it through the atmosphere of the earth right to us. So those types of rays tend to create mutation and change, right? They are the evolutionary kind of precursors, right? So that we've got to know there's something big going on when those things collide, right? When we have cosmic energy coming into us at the same time that we have a planet turning retrograde in a sign such as Pisces that is taking us to that most critical spiritual self. And one of the best ways for us to deal with this is just for us to sit back, relax, and let it happen.
Exactly. Unhook from everything. Unhook and just be with everything. It's let it go. Let it happen, right?
Yeah.
Let it happen. Yeah.
There's let it happen, but there's also, let it happen, but tune in to what it is that's happening. Right now, you guys are all extraordinarily extra sensorily perceptive. And test yourselves, right? Like I tested myself just on little things, like what the outcome of something small might be. Like this afternoon, in the beginning of the show, I said that I'd had the Mercury going retrograde day from hell. Because I just can't even, 20 minutes I'd have to go through everything that happened. But in the midst of all of that, there was this one thing that I said, definitely that I wanted to have happen. And I wasn't letting go of, all the other stuff could be just noise in the atmosphere. But this one outcome is what I was putting out there that I wanted. And I would know that it was something that was sort of psychically attractive to me when it happened. And it happened.
What was it?
It was I was putting a large check into the bank today, and I wanted that check to clear. I wanted the bank, because often banks, they'll maybe give you a few bucks of it and then they hold the rest. And sometimes for 7 to 10 days.
That's true.
Right? They'll want to do that. And I didn't want that. I wanted it to be cleared. And I didn't know how that was going to happen, but I was just certain somehow it was going to happen, even though I had all these thoughts about, oh, it's never happened in the past and yada, yada, yada.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
And the fact is that I was pleasantly surprised, but not really surprised when they released it all.
Yeah. So basically, you didn't go by the default or by the past programming of what normally would happen, even
Right.
though you know that how it played out before, and you said, no, I'd like this to happen. This is what I want to happen.
And I just tuned in. You know, in a way, that's exactly what I did, is I just tuned in to how is this going to end? And I knew how I wanted it to end, but I tuned into how it would end. What I didn't know was how it was going to get to where it was, but it got there. So I think that the lesson here is when you release it, when you release your attachment to in a way it should be,
Yep.
or the way that it has been, it leaves a lot of space for creative energies to come in and work to your advantage.
You have to let it go. You have to release it.
Start
you
singing.
have
Let it go.
Yeah, you totally have to release it and let it
Yeah.
go. And that's, I think, another big piece to the unhooking and allowing things to happen. And part of our new creative flow, being in the flow, because one of the things I wanted to talk about today is really being in the flow and not being attached to the outcome. Like, you know, like a lot of the things I did yesterday, I did initiated a lot of new things with a lot of different people and all of these things. And then it's like, now I just kind of have to let it go. I don't know what's going to happen.
That's the
right.
best way.
And just kind of let it go and let it snow. no, don't snow, please. But just let it go and not be attached to the outcome. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it snowed.
No, don't snow. No, listen, I'm just so happy that the sun is out. Oh my God. It's just been so great to be outside.
Yeah. It has been, and it's gorgeous. Think about this, Kornelia, when we started doing these shows at the beginning of February, or maybe it's the last week of January, it was dark.
We have blue sky now. It's great. It's fantastic.
I don't mean dark like clouds. I meant like it. By the time we were done broadcasting, I was leaving here in the dark.
That's true.
And today, I suspect I'll still have sunshine too.
How many shows have we done now? About 5 or 6?
5. Yeah. I think this is the 5th
this
one.
Has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Are you guys having fun too? Are you guys enjoying this so far with us? Yeah.
I would think so. The feedback I get, generally speaking, is really good about, letting us know that this is something people are interested in.
Yeah. And if you guys have any ideas of what it is that if there's a theme or something that you guys want us to touch or talk about, I mean,
tell us.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. I wanted to speak to something else too here. Right now, with all of this stuff that's changing, right? Our world is changing. Our reaction to the world is changing. We may be left in a Mercury retrograde feeling confused, lost, tired, fatigued. There's a lot of people that have been telling me that they feel fatigued, and it makes you feel almost like you're sick.
I said I've been feeling extremely exhausted.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people have said that, but a lot of that comes from energies that you really have no control over, as we are being upgraded, and evolution is taking its course, and it doesn't leave a lot of space for us to have that extra energy. So if you are feeling that way and there isn't a legitimate cause for it, that you can say, oh yeah, I worked out in my yard all day and that's why I'm tired. It could just be this whole process of our evolving and ascending or being upgraded is taking place, and it is fatiguing.
That's exactly. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because it does make you think, my gosh, is there something wrong with me?
Yeah.
And that's a really big piece. But these higher frequencies and learning how to live in the new, in the organic way, that, the old world is dissolving, and we know that. And we can't do things the way that we used to, pushing the boulder up the mountain.
Sisyphus.
We don't want to anymore, because think about how many women, how many of us, the collective women, all women have had to carry, and, so much of the weight of the world on her shoulders by doing so many things. And we have to allow for things to be easy. But at the same time, our bodies are moving, our bodies are moving to a higher vibrational ways of living and being. And we need to integrate that light. It was so interesting because you know what happened? I went to go get my roots done. I went to go get my roots done, right?
Oh, in your hair.
Yeah, my hair. I went to go get my roots done. It was so funny because my hairdresser made a mistake, and we fixed it. It's fixed, but it was so interesting because she used a lighter color on my roots than my hair is, and all of a sudden, we did my hair, and then I came home and I noticed that my roots are light. And imagine the metaphor of that. My roots are light. And literally that is exactly what's happening to all of us, is that our roots, which where before we would think that our root is at the end of our spine is the root chakra. But now our root is the heart chakra, because we are listening to our heart. We're acting from our heart. We're living from our heart. And that's actually the new root chakra, is our heart. And so we're all living with lighter roots now, because all our roots is becoming light and bright, right?
I'm going to use that. That's what I'm not getting gray. This is lighter roots.
Yeah. So I just thought it was funny, lighter roots.
It's perfect.
My roots are light.
That's perfect. The best bet for us during this time is to be like Mercury, right? Be like Mercury. Slow down. Mercury is slowing down. He's telling us it's time for you to slow down and not be in that rat race or that pushing, how we get, right? We got to do. By the time you get to bed at night, you're breathless because you've done so much.
And it's certainly not to sit on the couch at 6:30 at night already falling out because you're so tired, right?
Right.
Which was what happened to me the other night. I mean, literally, I ended up going to bed the other night at 6:30. I was so exhausted. I had to cancel my last appointment at 5:30 because I was that tired.
Oh man.
And I know because it had to do with this ascension, this, these new energies, and to allow ourselves that rest when we really need to. And sure enough, I went to bed that night. I woke up the next day and I had an amazing day.
So you recovered. And that's the thing. We need space to recover from some of these changes that are taking place within us. We don't really have any control over the upgrades that are happening, right? When you're just being bathed in all these particles are high energy particles.
Exactly.
Right? They're not just your little mamby-pamby slow wave. Nope, they're fast.
Yeah.
And they're coming through in a neutrino stream, you could call it. I mean, I could get all kind of scientific, and I don't want to necessarily do that, but just know that these particles are, they're agitating your molecules in your body, the water in your body.
And which is the Pisces water, right?
Pisces water.
And so Mercury is air in water. And Mercury is the divine masculine. And the divine masculine, in this is how I see Mercury, is the messenger. The words that we speak are not of war. The words that we speak are of love. And where before that inner critic or the words that we've spoken onto ourselves or onto each other have been, of war, right?
Exactly.
And so now
on ourselves.
And so now that divine masculine Mercury is being asked to slow down, to look at how we're communicating with spirit, with ourselves, with each other, so that we can make sure that we're speaking to each other in a non-violent way, with loving kindness, and that especially the way that we talk to ourselves, because that's how we talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
It's important that we slow down and make sure that our inner communication with our inner lover is absolutely beautiful. I love you. I love you. I love you.
And that's perfect. Remember what people often say about Mercury retrograde is that they always have things happen, like an accident will happen, and that slows them down, or they, get through a whole project and then they realize they forgot something. So there's real energy here for us to look at slowing down, not only because of the way that we're being bathed in these particles, but because we can make mistakes, right? Sometimes we're just not good at slowing down.
Yeah, you know
We
what?
haven't been good
Yeah.
at slowing down. We're getting better.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, too, is like, these are astrologers, and I know you're an astrologer. And these are astrologers that say, Mercury, when Mercury goes retrograde, all these things, everything breaks down, and this happens, and this happens, and it's, and
Goes sideways.
yeah, and I just am not going to buy into that. I like the things like, slowing down and looking at revisiting, looking at rewriting things, looking at all the re's.
Well, it's the point of it isn't so much about the fear or whatever it is that they're trying to say. It's that there's value in reevaluating, in slowing down to make sure. I think Mercury retrograde comes along and almost forces us into that slowdown. And for some people who refuse to do the slowdown, then they end up in issues. Right?
Yeah.
So that almost are orchestrated by the divine to keep them in a state of relaxation or in slowing down, so they can see the details here that they're missing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, Mercury in Pisces is much more able to see the bigger picture, but its opposite point is Virgo, and Virgo is the details, right? Virgo is the opposite sign from Pisces. So we have the real ability here, if we slow down, to see the little pieces that would make something perfect. That if we had just kept moving at, stellar speed, we may have missed those little pieces.
I think that's key. That's I needed to hear that right now, because that clicked. I just had an aha with something. And the other thing is that Mercury is communication, right? So our communication is being asked to slow down. And communication, what is communication? Communication is not just speaking, but communication is also listening.
Absolutely. It's connection. And if you miss the connection because you're too busy, then you got to wait till the next bus.
Yeah.
Next train.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is the perfect time.
Yeah.
We've still got this 1 month before the beginning of the new year, really, in,
March 20th.
Yeah. That's welcome 2019. We're just be coming out of winter. And so I'm excited by that.
We'll be coming out of winter. Those of you in the down low will be coming out of summer and into fall.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit different, way of experiencing it. But it's the same energy, right? It's the same energy. It is rebirth potential, or the ability to see something new, right? Aries is all about new beginnings.
Yeah.
But when we slow down, even your mind, if you take the time to slow your mind, you get new insights, right? You make those magical ahas, the epiphanies, they come because your mind is slowing down. And I think, this gives us an opportunity to create a blank slate. I think last night in the webinar, I was talking about emptying your mind, right? This is a great time to empty your mind. And you might need to do that through meditation or through yoga or, any number of processes where you're letting go of that busy stuff, of that, what do we call it? Monkey mind?
Yeah. One of my processes that I do every day is I sit down in the morning and I take my journal, and I just write a paragraph. I release and let go of what? And it's doubt, whatever the energy. I let go of this. 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 And it's just nice. It's just, and then when I'm done with that paragraph, that's it. And then I write something that's positive, and pretty much that's it. And then I'm done for the day. And it's just a powerful process because I've released this. I've let go. I've let go. I've let go. It's that self-emptying that you're talking about. That
makes space,
makes room. And it's like, okay, I've released this. I've let this go. Doubt, fear, whatever it is, or a habit, or, whatever it is.
What you've given yourself by doing that is the ability to have your perspective shifted. to shift your perspective of what's going on.
I do that while I'm drinking my first cup of coffee. I just do it, and it's just a wonderful way.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write that down. I release.
Yeah, I release and I let go.
And let go.
And there's a lot of times when I don't have anything to write and release and let go, and that's kind of cool when there's nothing to let go because you've been emptying so much.
Yeah, but right now we're in the time of emptying. So this is perfect. That's a great exercise. I release and let go and just let it kind of flow.
Yep.
What it is that's happening to you.
Absolutely.
Yep. So the other point that we haven't really touched on too much is that Pisces is also highly creative energy.
Yes. And we're moving into March.
Yeah.
Number 3,
creative energy. The whole year is about this creative energy. And, when I talk to people about creativity, sometimes they get, I'm not creative, right? Because they're thinking art, or they're thinking dance or something like that. But we're all creative in whatever it is. Maybe you're building a business. Maybe you're raising a family. Maybe you're redecorating your home. But all of these things, music, dance, celebrations.
Your life.
You're
creating your life.
You're creating your life. So dance, music, art, writing, singing. Remember when you wanted to be a singer?
Yes, I do. I remember.
Good. That was so good because she can sing. She really can sing. I even thought about, here we are changing seasons. So redecorate your house, right? We come out of the winter. I don't remember when I was telling people this, but inevitably when I get into spring, I always find that one stupid Christmas decoration that I missed. I've been looking at it for weeks and totally not seeing it. But when I go to do the redecoration, I find the bulb, and now I have to go dig out the boxes to put it away. But there's value in redecorating your house because it changes the energy.
Yeah.
And it's also very creative.
Yeah.
So
this is going to be a great time because we're letting go. We're listening to our inner spirit. We're listening to God. We're listening to Source. We're listening to our inner self, our inner lover. We're slowing down, we're letting go, we're self-emptying, and we're creating.
And we're receiving downloads when we have the space within us to get that.
Yeah.
So when you are releasing and letting go, you're really saying, I have space now, bring me this information. But don't be worried if you don't have the manual. If the manual doesn't come with the download, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just have faith that will come, because that happens to a lot of people. They get this wonderful download of, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to create. But then all the little how-to pieces were missing. It's like going to IKEA and buying a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
And then you can't find the directions. And now you have like 50 pieces of this, bookshelf. And you're like, oh no, how do I put that together?
Yeah.
And then you realize, I could just go online and put that piece number into the search and get it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always the aha, and the creative energy can come without necessarily all the how-tos. Right. Don't be alarmed by that. Just know that it comes in its perfect timing.
Yeah.
As needed.
Exactly.
When ready.
Yeah. When ready. When ready.
Yeah. So I also had a few ideas about how to develop your intuition.
Good. You want to touch on that?
Yeah. Let's touch on that. Number one, trust. Trust that you have intuition. I don't know how many people I hear, and it's always the people that have gate 57 in their in their human design. They're designed to be psychic, and they go, but I'm not intuitive. I'm not psychic. And I have to redirect that. I have to go, yes, you are. You were born with that. We all are born with that.
One of the great questions to ask yourself about intuition is you're out on a walk, you're going somewhere in the morning, you're heading out the door for work or whatever, and you ask yourself this question: what is it that I can do today to make my life better? What is it that I can do today to change my life? What is it that I can do to make my life better? And you ask yourself that question, and you intuit and listen to what the answer is.
Yeah, that's great. Another way to develop your intuition is to clear your mind chatter. Right. That goes along with what we've been talking about through relaxation. Yeah. Right. Get in the bathtub. I have a friend that gets in the bathtub and she lights candles and she just relaxes every day. She does this. Meditation through breathing, the breath, right? Get out in nature.
Yeah.
If the weather is permitting, get outside and breathe, touch your trees, get in the garden if you can, etc. Chart your dreams. Find what your symbols are, because I would bet some people don't realize that they are being fed intuition in their dreams, often through the symbols that are specific to you. Your dream journals are specific to you. You can't necessarily go to a book and find out what, an egg means. There are some general characteristics maybe, but for you, it means something else.
Exactly. That means that you are the authority, because you are listening to yourself. And then, you're going to tell us what it means to you.
Absolutely. So charting your dreams, and it connects you then to your personal intuitive symbology.
Yeah,
Right?
really
That's
good.
so huge, because like I said, what an egg means to me in a dream is going to be something that's different for you and everyone else.
Yeah.
Talk to your teams.
That's good. Talk to your team.
Talk to your teams. So that means your angels, your guides, your ascended masters. I would say even some of your human team members. Right?
Like one of the things, that I do, I'm out and I'm out and I'm walking, and I said this, Joshua, how would you handle this today? Mary Magdalene, what would you do in this situation? How would you deal with this? What would you do in a situation like this? How would you handle this? So I'm asking the question and,
waiting for the answer,
just listening. Yeah. Just seeing, hey, how would you handle this?
And we all have angels and spirit guides. We all have access to whoever it is that you reach out to. If you are a pagan and you absolutely love all the nature goddesses and gods,
or you ask the fairies, you ask the trees, you ask the birds, right?
They're all there.
Yeah.
They're all there. And then practice on things like oracle cards, right?
Yeah.
They're great.
I love oracle cards.
On Fridays, that's what I'm going to miss tomorrow. Often on Fridays in the morning show, we do a lot of oracle readings.
Okay.
Right? People say, pull a card for me. And, I've gotten really surprised at how accurate oracle cards can be when you just get out of the way, right? Use a pendulum.
We should bring an oracle. We should use some oracle cards next time. That would be fun. That would be fun.
I have you've got a bunch of them too.
Yeah.
Ask for information, just like you were saying when you say, Mary Magdalene, what would you do in this situation? Or, Jesus, what would you do? God, what would you do? Whomever, Freya.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Mother Mary. Yeah. Whoever your people are that you like to talk to, just how would you handle this situation? How would you deal with this situation right now? What would you do?
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm just curious, being really curious. It's like, okay.
But then being open too.
Yeah.
Right? And the more you do these things, just these little teeny things, they add up to creating more and more trust and faith that you're getting answers, that you're a part of this universe, and that you do have this intuition. And I always like to pull note for people that it was the spleen in your human design that was the very first center that was developed, and it is the center for your intuition. It was our very first energy center. So that energy center of intuition is what has kept us alive. It's why we have thrived as human beings.
It's what brought you here today.
Right. All righty. So thank you all so much for joining us today. I know we've had a lot of comments here in French. Unfortunately, I don't speak French, but I kind of feel like this person might be asking us if we're lesbians or something. Because
really? Why do you say that?
Lesbian. Qui se manga chate. I don't have any idea what they're saying. It could be, very good. Might be, I don't know.
That's true. That's so funny. No, we should take these questions and put it in Google Translate.
Yes, we probably should.
That would be fun.
Because I have no idea. Les filles vous sucer?
Yeah.
I am butchering that.
Les filles. Yeah.
Les filles. So,
yeah.
Anyway, so Asa says, laugh out loud. That's me, the 57 son. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The son at gate 57. My husband has that.
Okay.
Terry.
Wow.
He's gate 57. And I always have to remind myself, when he says we're going to do it this way and I want to fight it, I've learned to just relax and let it go, because he's tuning into something
good
that I'm not.
Okay.
Right. And I'm trusting that more and more in him as well as in myself.
Neat.
But, yeah. So anyway, We love you all. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday. Remember, tomorrow I may not have internet, so I may not be on the air in the morning. I'm so sad, but that's okay. I will try to get you information out there as soon as I have internet connection restored. In the meantime, have a great evening.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.